Yuya had a miserable life. He was obese, ugly, and friendless. He faced constant abuse from everyone, even his own family. He had no hope or happiness left. But one day, everything changed. He stumbled into a portal to another world and gained a powerful system that let him level up and unlock amazing skills. He transformed into a handsome man with unlimited riz, who could also stand up to his tormentors and win the heart of his dream girl. But before his amazing adventure began, he had to endure a lot of pain and humiliation. The first time he saw his crush, she was in a dark alley, surrounded by thugs who was about to develop some plot on her. Yuya tried to be brave and asked them to leave her alone, but they just laughed at his ugly face and beat him up until he passed out. The girl didn't even thank him for trying to save her. She just ran away when the cops showed up. Yuya was used to this kind of treatment. Ever since he was a kid, he was bullied for being fat. He had no friends or support. His parents were cruel and greedy. They abandoned him when they found out they couldn't get their hands on his inheritance from his grandpa, who died in a truck accident and left him a fortune. Yuya had to work hard to survive on his own. His life got worse in middle school. The bullies became more violent and vicious. They ruined his graduation day by kicking him down and beating him up in front of everyone. His siblings watched and cheered them on. They hated their fat brother too. Yuya tried to get to his job, but he was too late. His boss fired him on the spot. He had nothing left to live for. He bought some cheap ramen with his last money and looked at his reflection in the noodles. He saw a pathetic loser with a swollen eye. He hated himself so much that he smashed the mirror with his hand. Yuya was depressed and angry. He punched the wall in frustration. But then he saw something weird. A door that wasn't there before. He opened it and entered a dark room full of strange and magical things. In the middle, there was another door. He opened that too and a system message greeted him. He had gained skills for entering a new world. One of them was to convert game objects into useful items. He wondered what that meant. He checked his skill levels. They were all level 1. He was a noob, but he didn't care. He looked outside and saw a beautiful world. He also saw a note on the table. The system gave him the ability to read it. It said that the previous owner had left everything in the house for him. The house was also protected by magic. He explored the house and found an awesome sword. He wanted to try it out. He went outside and swung it around, but he tripped and almost killed himself. The system gave him the swordsmanship skill. He was surprised but not satisfied. He decided to try other weapons. He grabbed a lance and became the Grim Reaper. He grabbed a bow and became the bone of his sword. He grabbed a gauntlet and became Thanos. He thought about snapping his fingers and wiping out half of the world. He wondered how these weapons were made and why they were here. But he didn't care. He just wanted more power. The status system then gave him a true martial arts skill. Yuya was tired. He put away his weapons in his void box and planned to train more tomorrow. But then he saw a huge red ogre charging at him. It was stopped by the magic gate, but Yuya was scared. He used his assess skill and saw that it was level 300. He tried to attack it with different weapons, but nothing worked. It grabbed a tree and tried to smash the gate, but it was too strong. Yuya decided to use his spear. He had practiced with it all day. He lifted it with difficulty and threw it at the ogre. The spear pierced the ogre's belly and created a hole. The ogre fell down and died. Yuya felt a rush of relief and excitement. He had killed the monster. The system rewarded him by raising his level to 100. He ran to the ogre's body and looted all the rare items. He was happy and exhausted. He went back to his house and the system asked him to convert his items into useful objects. He agreed and saw a pile of money on the floor. It was rich. He went to bed and fell asleep. But he didn't know that his body was changing. His muscles grew, his skin changed, his face changed. He became a different person. He woke up in the morning and felt something strange. He touched his abs and felt them hard. He thought he was dreaming. He looked at his skin and saw that it was not Asian anymore. He wondered what his face looked like, but he couldn't see it because the mirror was broken. Yuya used the chains from the sage to make a new outfit. He went to the forest and found some amazing fruits. He planted them in his backyard and learned that they could heal any sickness and boost his stats. He was happy. He saw a slime and killed it with his spear. He looted it and found a necklace that made him more handsome. He converted the other items into money and bought some clothes. He trained his skills and became stronger every day. He fought goblins and other monsters with ease. He was awesome, but he was still afraid of going back to school. He didn't want to be bullied again. He walked to school and everyone stared at him. He thought they were looking at someone else. He sat in his class and his bullies approached him. They asked him who he was. He said he was Yuya. Everyone was shocked. His bullies thought he was lying. But he wasn't. He was Yuya, the new and improved Yuya. Yuya went to the bathroom and saw his face for the first time. He was shocked. He was handsome. He came back to his class and his brother and sister confronted him. They asked him how he changed so much. They called him a loser. But then a limo arrived and the girl he saved got out. She looked for him and called his name. He wondered how she knew him. She reminded him that he saved her from the thugs. She said her name was Corey. She asked him if he wanted to join the Hosei Academy, a school for the elite. She said she was on the student council and her dad was the chairman. Yuya was surprised but felt unworthy. He said he wasn't smart enough. His brother and sister tried to join instead. They said they were better than Yuya in everything. But Corey rejected them. She said they were rude to Yuya, who was her hero. She said she knew all about their bullying. She told Yuya that their school valued personality more than grades. She offered to show him around. She dragged him to the limo and left. His siblings were stunned. They reached the academy and it was amazing. It was full of talented students. They met with the chairman, Tsukasa, who thanked Yuya for saving his daughter. Yuya said it was nothing, but Corey said he was the only one who helped her. Tsukasa invited Yuya to join the school. He even offered to pay for his tuition as a gratitude. Yuya was hesitant. He thought he wouldn't belong there. He thought only geniuses could go there. Tsukasa said that geniuses were just people who worked hard and used their time wisely. Tsukasa said that Yuya had talents that he didn't know yet. He said that he could discover them by having fun and facing challenges. He said that he was young and had potential. He asked him to try the school for a day he didn't play. He said he didn't have his gym clothes. Roy played against the other team and passed the ball to his teammate Akira. Akira tried to score but he failed and kicked the ball at Keed. Yuya asked Keed if she was okay but she was speechless because this man has too much riz. The last number of your like is who powers you get. Comment who you got. Don't forget to subscribe for more anime recaps.